As the 2025 NFL season approaches, the big question swirling around Pittsburgh Steelers fans and analysts alike is, what exactly has changed? On the surface, it might look like business as usual. The head coach remains the same. The coordinators who shape the offense and defense have stayed put, and nearly all the positional coaches are holding their spots. The schemes, the playbook, the culture the team embraces, they all seem to have been carried over intact. So if the blueprint hasn't been rewritten, if the leadership hasn't shifted, what's genuinely new in the Steelers team flying? Back from Seattle the other day, a journey that clocks in at just under 5 hours gave me ample time to ruminate on this exact question. If you've ever been on a cross-country flight, you know how your mind can drift into places it rarely ventures during a hectic day. There's something about that stretch of uninterrupted, mostly quiet time, especially when you're cruising somewhere over Montana or Idaho, that invites reflection. You start running mental lists, ticking off changes and constants, and letting your thoughts roam freely. That's when it hit me. What tangible differences has the Steelers roster undergone since the 2024 season wrapped? Because when the team convenes in Latrobe in just over 2 weeks, everything will probably sound the same. The terminology, the drills, the coaching voices, they'll be familiar. The atmosphere will feel unchanged. But if you step back and start counting the faces on offense and defense, the story becomes clearer. Let's start with the offense. Nobody can say for certain exactly how the lineup will look for the season opener in New Jersey, but some things are almost set in stone. Aaron Rodgers is the unquestioned starting quarterback. He's a fresh face under center, bringing a different dimension and a storied career to Pittsburgh. That alone marks a significant shift. Then there's Jonnu Smith, who, depending on how the coaching staff defines his role alongside Pat Freiermuth, could very well stake a claim as a starter. Darnell Washington is also in the mix. Last season, he ranked as the number 4 receiving tight end across the entire league while with Miami, so his presence can't be overlooked. Moving further, down the depth chart, DK Metcalf has stepped in to fill George Pickens' role, adding a new flavor to the receiving corps. On the offensive line, Troy Fawano is expected to take over Dan Moore's spot. Moore left for Nashville, and Brick Jones has shifted from right tackle to left tackle, which opens the door for Fawano. Though he appeared in only one game last season, his presence on the roster now signals a new chapter. Adding it all up, that's about 4 starters on offense who are either completely new or have stepped into roles with fresh expectations. I'd throw in a half point for Caleb Johnson, given his projected workload at running back. He's expected to take over some of the snaps that Najee Harris used to handle. So on offense, we're looking at roughly 4.5 new starters, but there's a nuance here that can't be missed. The quarterback room in its entirety is new. Every one of the 4 quarterbacks on the roster is a fresh face, at least in terms of being active with the Steelers this season. Mason Rudolph, who had been a familiar presence in recent years, spent last season on hiatus with the Tennessee Titans. That kind of turnover at the most crucial position on the field represents a big shift in the team's makeup. Now, turning to the defense, the changes are equally striking, especially when you consider the absence of Minkah Fitzpatrick. Losing Fitzpatrick is a jarring blow. It's not just swapping one player for another. It's like a fundamental change in the identity of the defense itself. To say he's gone and Juan Thornhill has stepped in doesn't quite capture the magnitude of the shift. It almost feels disrespectful to equate the two, given how vital Fitzpatrick was to the Steelers' defensive backbone. Alongside Thornhill, there's Jalen Ramsey coming in as the slot cornerback, replacing Beanie Bishop, and Darius Slay taking over the outside corner spot formerly held by Dante Jackson. Derek Harmon, a prized first-round draft pick, is slated to start at left defensive end, heralding the dawn of a new generation on the defensive line. He's already been handed the reins by none other than Carl Dunbar, the defensive line coach, which says a lot about the team's confidence in him. Cole Holcomb, expected to be fully healthy and playing significant snaps, should chip in as well, likely taking away playing time from Peyton Wilson and stepping into the snaps that were once Elandon Roberts' domain. Putting these changes together, on the defensive side, you get another 4.5 starters who are new or returning after long absences. Combine that with the offense, and that's about 9 new starters in total. That's 9 out of 22 starting spots that have new faces this season. That's roughly 40% of the starting lineup undergoing change. For a franchise often viewed as conservative or even stubborn in their approach, especially under Mike Tomlin's steady leadership, this is a substantial shift in personnel, even if the overarching coaching and culture remain constant. So, despite the familiar sounds in the locker room, the Steelers are not exactly the same team as last year. The players don't just put on the helmets and run out there like a repeat performance. There's real change happening on the roster, with nearly half of the starters stepping into new roles. It's a transition period that combines continuity and coaching with a fresh wave of talent, and it's hard to imagine the impact won't be felt on the field. That said, the conversation inevitably moves toward the running back situation, which has generated some questions. John Marshall recently asked a great question. With all this focus on potentially adding a wide receiver too, what about the running back room? How solid is it? It's a fair inquiry because the running backs are often a pulse check for a team's offensive versatility and explosiveness. The Steelers' running back room has been a source of excitement for some time, and Jaylen Warren has been a steady force, either as the number 1 or number 2 back, depending on perspective. In Mike Tomlin's eyes, Warren has been more of a number 2. But this season, there's a chance for him to step up as a lead back. That prospect is intriguing. Caleb Johnson, meanwhile, has drawn attention for his promise and skill set. I admit, I was among those caught up in some of the hype surrounding him during the offseason. Coaches have spoken positively about his potential, and he brings a different element to the backfield. Then there's Kenneth Gainwell, who, while not quite in the same tier as Warren or Johnson, offers a weapon that the Steelers haven't really had before. An outside zone blocker and runner who can take pitches and turn them into big plays, rather. And questionable calls. It's important to clarify that talking about the running back room is not to suggest the Steelers should be actively looking to add more backs or overhaul the situation. On the contrary, the current group is well regarded and seen as ready to contribute. But there's a natural caution in rushing to conclusions about their readiness to dominate the league from day one. Najee Harris, who spent 5 years in Pittsburgh, grew noticeably during his tenure. Early on, he made mistakes and learned from them, steadily improving year after year. He wasn't the same player when he left as when he arrived, which is a good marker for development. That kind of progress is what you hope to see in young backs like Caleb Johnson. But to expect a third-round pick to step in and become the next Saquon Barkley overnight would be unrealistic. If Johnson had the kind of star potential Barkley showed, he likely wouldn't have lasted until the third round. So how's the running back situation? It's promising, even exciting, but far from complete. Caleb Johnson himself seems to understand that. In conversations during minicamp, it was clear he's grounded, humble, and respectful of the veterans like Warren. He's not brash or overconfident, which bodes well for his growth. With all this in mind, the Steelers head into this season carrying a mix of stability and renewal, poised to see how these nearly 50% new starters mesh with the long-standing coaching philosophies. The stage is set for a year that could surprise fans. Perhaps not in how the team talks or practices, but in how it performs on Sundays. Now, beyond the running back room, there's the larger picture of how the offense will actually function with all these new pieces fitting into place. Aaron Rodgers stepping in at quarterback changes the dynamic entirely. Rodgers isn't just any veteran. He's a seasoned playmaker with a reputation for smart decision-making and precise passing. His arrival brings a layer of experience and leadership that Pittsburgh hasn't seen in recent years at the quarterback position. The question lingering for many is how quickly Rodgers will adapt to the Steelers system and how effectively the team around him will elevate to meet his style. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are stirring in the NFL world as rumors suggest that quarterback Tua Huntley, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, might be making a surprising move to the Pittsburgh Steelers. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the matter hint that Huntley's signing could be just around the corner, sparking excitement and speculation among fans and analysts alike. Tua Huntley's time with the Dolphins was marked by flashes of potential, showing glimpses of the skill and leadership that made him a sought-after talent coming out of college. However, Despite moments of brilliance, Huntley struggled to find consistency under the bright lights of Miami, leading to questions about his future with the team. Now, the Steelers, a franchise historically known for giving quarterbacks a chance to develop and shine, appear to be eyeing Huntley as a possible addition to their roster. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team with a proud legacy and a strong fan base, have been on the lookout for a quarterback who can both invigorate their offense and step up when called upon. Huntley's arrival could signal a strategic shift, offering Pittsburgh a young, athletic quarterback with a fresh perspective and a chip on his shoulder. It's no secret that the Steelers have been eager to bolster their quarterback depth, and Huntley's experience, though limited, might be just what they need to add some competition and versatility to their squad. Of course, the transition won't be without its challenges. Huntley will have to adapt to a new system, a new coaching staff, and the pressure of performing in a franchise that demands excellence week after week. Still, the buzz around this potential signing is undeniable. Fans are already imagining what Huntley's style could bring to the Steelers' offense, a blend of mobility, quick decision-making, and the hunger to prove himself all over again. While negotiations reportedly remain in the early stages, insiders say talks have been promising, and both sides seem eager to find common ground. The Steelers could be banking on Huntley's untapped potential and his drive to bounce back, making this rumored signing a low-risk, high-reward gamble. In the end, whether or not Huntley officially dons the black and gold remains to be seen. But the mere possibility has set the NFL grapevine abuzz, stirring hope and curiosity. Will Tua Huntley be the next chapter in the Steelers' storied quarterback legacy? Only time will tell. But for now, the rumor mill is alive and kicking, and Pittsburgh fans are watching closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.